So the next step now, I want 2 pieces of paracord to come up and meet this. So I'm just going to stick this through here. And again, the hole is small, so you may find it a little bit of a challenge to get the paracord through. There we go, just like that. And then I'm just going to loop it here, and I'm just going to push it back through, just like this. Of course, the next and very important thing to do is to size this to make sure that once it's on right. So we'll do that right now. Alright, so in order to keep this here from splitting or doing anything silly, I'm going to take a needle and thread. I'm just going to stitch it just like this. That way, when I do my braiding on it, which is one of my next steps, it's going to lay nice and flat. So I'm just going to quickly, as best as I can, and it doesn't have to be a good stitch, just something quick. Just basically enough to sort of hold the material together for my braiding, which is my next part. Alright, so now that we have this all stitched, we're going to take this and I'm going to put a cobra weave on it, and to make sure that it starts well and that we don't have any messing around, I'm going to stitch it. So I'm just going to take my needle and thread here and run 2 or 3 stitches here. Just the idea is that as the cobra takes its time, and these shoes become a year or 2 old, I'm not going to have any problem with them separating. So I'm just going to go ahead here, run 2 or 3 little stitches on here, get it nice and snug, and then start my cobra. Now, if you're not familiar with cobra weave, there's all kinds of YouTube tutorials on how to do this kind of, it's like a macrame paracord type knot. So I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to make this video any longer, but I will just finish this up here, and then I'm going to start my knot work. Alright, so I've got my sandal basically put together. I put some stitching and stuff on it, put the braiding on it, so it's kind of how I want it. The next thing we're going to do is, alone like this, I'm going to walk through this really quick. We're going to take our shield leather now, and we're going to put these together. But I can't sew through it with my stitching awl because I'm going to break the awl bit on this heavy-duty leather. So I'm going to take my Dremel, and I'm going to go all the way around, and I'm going to drill a series of holes all the way around this, and then use my stitching awl and just punch through it and sew it up. So we're going to go the next step here and drill the holes through it. So our next step here is we're going to take glue, and we're going to glue our footbed now that we have all our holes in it. So we're just going to take this here, and it's not exactly a science. You just sort of slop it on. And the idea with the glue, it's not mandatory by any means, but the idea is that it's going to hold it tight. Now again, I'm gluing the 2 pieces of smooth leather together for a couple of reasons. First of all, on my body, I like to feel the rough leather on the bottom of my feet, and I want the rough leather down in this area. That way, I get more of a grip, and if I'm going, in a smooth environment, I don't have to worry about slipping. Now, if you see any splits, there's a little split right there. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to pack some extra glue on that. There we go. That way It has a chance to set in there. You should make sure you glue both pieces, of course, both sides, and I'm going to put a little extra glue on my paracord right there, just like that, to make sure that that fits. And again, it may look like it's going to be annoying and uncomfortable, but you won't actually even notice that. So now I have my two sole pieces glued together. I want to make sure I get as much binding as possible, so I'm going to push kind of hard on that and examine all my edges. So we have a really nice leathery, tough leather footbed there that I really like. Again, use the smooth side if you have, if you want a smoother part. And on this bottom here, I got all my holes. So we are going to start doing our stitching here with the stitching awl. And how we're going to start with that, we're going to take our stitching awl, and it has the thread here for it that you can get wherever you want. And I'm going to take this, make sure it's the right size, and it goes all the way around with a little extra. And now we're going to begin right here at the back. We're going to take it, we're going to put it through one of those holes I just drilled, and get that all set up. If you're not sure or you've never used one of these tools before, they're a really great and ancient tool for doing this kind of work. So now I got that through. I'm going to take my long string here and pull her through, and I have a little knot at the end. It's going to stop there, and there we go. I've made my first thread. Move on to my second hole. Exactly the same principle. Grab her, push through, and as it pulls down, you're going to see that open up. I'm going to take this and put it through. Now, it's a very long and exhaustive process, this hand stitching, so we're not going to show all of that, but you'll kind of get the idea here. I'll do a couple of more stitches, and that will be that. So there we have it. I've completed my first sandal of the two that I need to make, and I'm pretty happy with the result. It looks pretty good. Now it's going to be really nice and firm because it's the first one and it's brand new, and that leather is super thick. But yeah, so the next step for me will be to just do some finishing on this, right? I can finish this, I can finish it off and make it nice and even. You might even decide you want to dye them black, which I normally do. And yeah, so that's basically how you go about making your own sandal, and it's pretty awesome. There's a certain beauty to making something that's your own. I mean, yes, I could go and I could buy shoes for anywhere from $1.99 all the way up to, several $100s. But you didn't make them yourself. These are custom made, custom designed just for me. I made them with my own hands in a very earthy way, and I got to choose how the leather feels against my foot, and and they're not perfect, so they're very primitive, and I find that very appealing to do that. So I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I'm the Wolfman for Barefoot Bushcraft. Please consider subscribing.